Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
On this edition of Minnesota Original, he founded Penumbra Theatre in 1976. Artistic director Lou Bellamy celebrates Minnesota's only professional African-American theater. Minnesota filmmaker Sarah Jean Kruchowski explores themes of disappointment and yearning in her short films. Their music is inspired by their Midwest roots. Farewell Milwaukee performed. These artists and more, now on Minnesota Original.
Well, if you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66.
This is designed by Lance Brockman. What we will have are 5 monitors that you can see here. This is our musical director, Sanford Moore. Brilliant man, even though he's here, I'll say it. Okay? All right. You got props, you got your coat and everything?
Yeah, you got the
coat. Okay, all right. We're in, I think, the middle of the 3rd week of rehearsal. So people are just getting off book. Hopefully not off lines.
What does that mean, you married?
Ladies love it.
Oh, you don't think I know how it works with the ladies and money?
They're starting to create character and put together all the pieces.
You could send them anything. They just happy something is sent, that's all. You gonna give them something that's cut and dying. That don't make no sense. Man, you could send a woman a box of pencils and she'd be happy. 'Cause you sent her something.
The name Penumbra began when we began the company in 1976. I knew that I wanted our program to be professional. We were a program of the Hallie Q. Brown Community Center. You got to remember, at this time, we weren't able to get State Arts Board funding because they said we were doing social service, not art. See, then you carry that right off into flowers.
Right.
Look, they are magical. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Penumbra is a Latin term that means partial shadow. It's that place that an artist has to go to create that world that is neither light nor dark. It also sort of symbolized the marginalization of the culture and all that sort of stuff. These are all afterthoughts. It was fun to say. Penumbra, you know, it's a fun word to say, yeah.
Hey, there's a card.
What it say?
It's from the NAACP. And they say, Mr. Cole, thank you for your positive image of Negro America, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Peoples.
The project that we're working on right now is a play called I Wish You Love. It's written by Dominic Taylor.
Bill, call down to Alabama. Better yet, have one of the NBC execs call down there. Tell them that my nephew is missing.
What Dominic has put together here is not so much about Nat Cole, although there are 22 songs in the performance.
5, 4, 3, 2.
It happens during his television show, and you get him doing his show. Actually, there'll be a television camera in the back of the house, and they'll shoot him doing the show.
Nat King Cole Show.
In the evening, may I...
But when the show goes down, when they break for a commercial, you'll also see commercials. And then you'll see the actors and producers interacting about life, about what's going on in the world, because there are news clips in there as well.
While he was the governor of South Carolina during the Second World War, he told Harry Truman, and I quote, "I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation."
This is 1957, so the civil rights movement is hot, and people are being challenged in all sorts of ways. America is being asked to live up to its promise, and in many cases it's beating people down and killing them, threatening them, lynching them to do it. So all of these things, this suave, black, male crooner is doing his stuff, while at the same time you break and go to a newscast and little children are being pushed around as they're trying to go to school in first grade. I mean, the comparison is, well, it's striking.
I think he didn't like the way I said officer.
Them cops think we should still be in a field somewhere.
Knocked the hat off my head. Then it was on, I guess.
There's a real social justice, social consciousness part of the art we do. But it is always firmly ensconced in the African American experience. It's ensemble oriented, and it is of the highest quality we can muster. The young folks always ripping and running, that you're not saying that to anybody. It's just you're just reading your book going, young folks always ripping and running. It's just to you. The way we produce this work and cultural influence on the work is very subtle.
My mama been telling me as far back as I can remember, try. If you try, you'd be surprised what you get. Cultures
manifest themselves often in shadows, and we'll do something that is particularly or expressed in a particular Afrocentric sort of way.
So she looks at me and says, "I know you stole that cookie from the cookie jar." I looked up and said, "Who, me?" "Yes, you." "Couldn't be." "Then who?" And all the black people in the audience will laugh, or they'll get the joke, or they'll cry. And then others who aren't of that experience, well, you'll see them sort of looking around going like, well, I've got to lean into this a little more. "You stole the cookie from the cookie jar." All of the work we do is presented as though there are no one but African Americans in the house. "Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar?" Who? Who?
Just a second.
That first who, it's when after you gather yourself, it's who.
Oh, I'm taking too long?
No, they're taking too long.
Oh, okay.
You can take the time that you want. It's when they respond.
You have to listen with a kind of specificity and a kind of intent. I've seen it happen so many times here. People who aren't African American will come in and you'll see them going, I don't know what they're saying. I don't understand that. And then you'll see them sort of lean and they'll miss a joke or something will happen and they'll say, I've got to attend to this a little more carefully. And before you know it, their ear becomes accustomed to that way of speaking, that kind of intonation and so forth. In a similar way we relate to Shakespeare. That takes a degree of concentration, which, incidentally, lends it a kind of authenticity that you just don't see anywhere else.
Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Who stole the cookie? Stole the cookie. Stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who stole the cookie? Stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who stole the cookie? Stole the cookie. Who stole the cookie? Stole the cookie. Stole the cookie. Who stole the cookie? Stole the cookie. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? It was a rhythm lesson, not even know it was coming.
I always told your daddy, if I was ever gonna hire another drummer, it would be your mama.
So are we gonna try?
Why not? Who stole? Man, you something else.
After we play here, We will take it to Kennedy Center, and we'll play there for a couple of weeks, then to Hartford Stage in Connecticut and play there. And then, who knows, perhaps new album next.
I need to thank you, all of our fans, for watching us as we've moved around the calendar.
This experience that I present when I direct, and I only direct things out of this genre, it's so specific, but out of that specificity, I guarantee you will find yourself. It is impossible not to, and that's the beauty of being human, is that we can reach across cultures, we can reach across languages, all sorts of barriers. I've got you looking up here intellectually processing something, and then you sneak up and go, gotcha, that's you being human. That's what we live for, pray for, that human experience.
I started working mostly in theater and then found photography and then thought, wow, video cameras are neat, but I'm originally from Duluth, Minnesota and didn't really have a lot of access to, I guess. My name is Sarah Jean Kruchowski and I'm a filmmaker. Over the last decade, I've been living and working in the film community in Minneapolis. I've gotten to work on a lot of different feature films. I got to work on A Serious Man as in the set dressing department, which was very exciting. Over the last 6 years, I've been making my own films and directing shorts. Lum for me was kind of a love story to Duluth. To me, Duluth is a really beautiful place. Lum's based on a story my dad had told me and my sister growing up. There's a kid who wants a puppy and gets a lump of coal.
Go ahead and open your present.
Growing up in my household, we watched a lot of cartoons and old movies. I'm kind of realizing that my aesthetic is kind of a combination of old movies and cartoons. I'm on my way back to the start. I like to kind of keep things around a little bit sad and a little bit funny. Like, I work a lot with the themes of disappointment, themes of wanting, not getting what you want. It's funny because for the same movie, people will be like, that was so sad. And then, you'll talk to somebody 2 seconds later and they'll be like, that was the cutest. And you're like, I don't know. But you're like, either way, they chose to interpret it and they had a reaction. And it's working on some level. At the end of it, she builds a dog out of garbage. My friend Katrine, who was doing props, was like, I just think it would be less sad if the dog rolled instead of dragged on the ground. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. So it ended up being a roller skate with some stuff glued on it.
Since the leaves changed their color, the girl wanted to find a pumpkin.
Pumpkin, for me, was an experiment in language, actually.
But she was surprised to see that the pup wasn't normal at all.
My idea was to write something and translate it into French and then have it translate back and take the narration and turn it into something that meant the same thing but was said in a way no native speaker would ever say it.
This night, she dreamt what her pumpkin had done.
I sort of think of her mind that way, which is, just chock-a-block full of oddities that us normal, boring people would never think about. And she pulls them out and makes magic with it.
I like crafts, and crafts show up a lot. There's a lot of sort of pipe cleaner sort of aesthetics that come in and out. I don't know how to build a digital model to tell somebody a story, but I do know how to make a puppet to tell a story, and it has to do with what tools I have and I'm comfortable with. I applied for the fresh filmmaker grant from IFP, and got the phone call last fall saying that I got it, which is very, very exciting.
Looks like my lucky day.
And been working with them to complete this film, Jerry Schwingle and the Happiness Well. It is a film about a guy who's having a kind of bad day and runs across a wishing well, but can't figure out how to use it. So it's about him learning how to wish and how to wish appropriately.
I want to go home.
To really get grounded and ask for something that would be helpful. It was very exciting because it's the first grant I've ever been awarded. They provide access to gear and post houses and facilities. And a lot of stuff was, donated by vendors, which was amazing.
Here is where he starts to whistle.
Okay. And as far as crew goes, we rolled about 30 per day. And we shot for 3 full days and then a day of second unit stuff. It's a larger scale than I normally have been able to work with.
Action!
It feels amazing when you show up somewhere and your silly little frivolous idea and there's 30 people who have brought all the things to make it happen. And it's really easy to be like, I would like a wishing well. I would like a magic wishing well that does all these magic things. I would like the crank to work on its own, and I would like balloons to come out of it, and I would like it to bubble and explode. And when it showed up, you almost want to cry, because you're like, I guess I didn't really know it was going to happen,
And action on rehearsal?
I think Minneapolis has a very rich and interesting film community, and I'm very, very proud to be part of it. We're scrappy. I mean, we're scrappy. We're making stuff, and we're making good stuff. And it's fun to see a city that isn't New York or LA,
Glass is for sure one of those things you could do your whole life, and there's always room for improvement. You're never going to know it all, be able to learn it all, do it all. Don't ever give up on a piece. Just take it to the end, and if you still hate it at the end, then you can smash it. Primarily, I'm a glass blower. I also work a lot with metal, do a lot of sculpting and welding and casting. I make vases and some bowls and more sort of traditional glass. But then I also make rockets and robots, and I take vases and cut them in half and add metal sculpture to them, and I cut doors in the sides of pieces. I've tried to get out of making anything with any sort of function. Some of the coolest pieces I've made or techniques that I've come up with on my own, a lot of them have come out of happy accidents. We start working with the glass at a little over 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. A lot of the hand tools you might see glass blowers using are essentially unchanged for about the last 1,000 years. So we'll make it work. How do you feel?
Yeah,
you ready? One of the most extraordinary things about working with glass is that it's largely a team sport. You need help to do it. Foci glass is Minnesota's only public glass studio. We teach classes here, we rent time to artists of all experience levels, and it's, bottom line, just a really awesome community of artists. Glass has taught me to deal with failure because in making glass, you're going to break a lot of pieces. Not every piece is going to make it, not every piece is going to turn out the way you want. I might make a piece that I've been working on for like 3 hours and you know, falls on the floor and shatters, and everybody around is just like gasping and, you know, almost like in tears, and I'm just like, oh, on to the next one. Glass is such an intense and very time-sensitive material to work with. When you start a piece, you can't set it down and go get a glass of water or eat a sandwich. You have to take a piece from start to finish. And so for me, working with metal is sort of a really nice break from that. The glass is almost this, you know, sort of earthly, maybe like organic element, while the metal is more of an industrial juxtaposition of the two materials. Hopefully, I'd like to be on an Antiques Roadshow one day. You know, when I'm dead and gone, I'd like my grandchildren to like see one of my pieces on Antique Roadshow.
Just on the nightstand. When I booked that flight from Memphis, Tennessee. So why don't you open up the windows to save you? Let your eyes wash all over me, 'cause I got a sin to feel.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.